Yo, what's up? What's up? Welcome back to another edition of Proactive Pragmatism. On this episode of Proactive Pragmatism, we carry on with our series, Millennials Are. This next millennial that I'm about to bring to the podcast is a son, soldier, and social media influencer, the Torrey Cook. Yo, what up, Truth? How you been?
What's going on, man?
Welcome
I've been
to
good.
the
I've been good.
podcast.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. It's been a long time coming. You know what I'm saying? You kind of a celebrity on TikTok. I
Oh
ain't really
no.
got all over there. I ain't really, much of TikTok guy. But I mean, somebody who has 100,000 likes and 11,000 followers, like I could only imagine having that many followers in real life. You feel me?
Yeah. I mean, it's not a lot, but from starting from 0 to 11,000, that is a lot. But yeah.
Okay. So tell the audience a little bit about Torrey Cook. Who is Torrey Cook, the influencer, the son, the soldier?
Okay. Well, as he said, my name is Torrey Cook. I'm a college student, Army. I'm in the Army, and I'm a full-time college student, and I'm in the Army. So for the most part, I'm going to school to be business admin major. That's my major and everything, business admin. And on the civilian side, I don't do anything on the civilian side because I'm a full-time college student. But on the part-time, on Saturdays and Sundays, I'm the part-time warrior, soldier and everything like that. So that's they call it the part-time soldiers and everything. So you know how that go.
Okay. So what made you, can you explain like what made you join the military, especially the guard and then college and stuff like that? Because a lot of people don't even understand how that works.
Okay, so basically, when I joined the Army back in 2015, I joined right after high school. So I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't want to go straight into the workforce. I wanted to, find something that would keep some income coming in while I was young at the time and everything like that. So I was like, you know what? Let me just up and join the military without even second guessing it. So I just up and joined the military. And now it's been July will be 6 years that I've been in the Army. 6 years.
Okay. 6 years.
And everything.
You plan on staying in?
As of now, not right now, but if I do reconsider it might not be the Army and everything.
Okay.
So
What you got your eyes on, like military wise?
the Air Force.
Okay. You plan on going Air Force ROTC, or you trying
Not
to just stay
ROTC.
enlisted? Okay.
Just
all right.
stay enlisted.
Because I know a lot of people, they try to, they do they'll enlist for a while, then they'll go become an officer in the programs or whatnot.
Right.
And so that's pretty cool. So you said you just got, so we talked about, earlier, you just got back from deployment. Like, did you ever think you was gonna get the call to get deployed? Like, how did that make you feel when it was like, look?
Oh man, what's crazy about that? I was in my my transfer, my sophomore year of college. Like it was the beginning of spring semester. So I got the call. They was like, Special Cook, do you know you're on call to get deployed? I'm like, what? They was like, yes, you're on the call to get deployed. I was like, how does that work? I'm about to start my spring semester classes this upcoming Monday. So what do you want me to tell my professors and my, my advisor and everything? So basically they were just telling me, they will be sending my orders over to me to let them know that I was getting deployed, and that should solve everything that I needed to cancel my classes. So that's basically how I knew I was getting deployed. They called me,
Man,
and yeah.
what was going through your mind? Like, was it mainly school, or like, did you you have a girl or something? You had to, I just feel like that would be a lot to handle. Like, and how long before you deployed did you get the notification?
I was I like January. I think I knew sometime in January, and like it was like 2 to 3 weeks before I know I was going to Fort Hood, Texas, within like 2 to 3
Mm.
weeks. So
You was
yeah,
on
it
that
was a little bit.
plane, huh?
Yeah, it was a quick process. Yeah.
So were you the unit that you deployed with? Were you actually attached to that unit, or were you from another unit entirely?
I'm not actually attached to that unit. I'm from the. I'm originally from the 445 in Shiloh,
Okay.
Illinois. So I
Okay.
was what is it called? Yeah, like an attachment to the 135 chemical unit up in McChesney, Illinois.
Okay. Okay. What was your job over there? Like, what do you do in the Army?
I'm 92 Yankee, a unit supply specialist. I deal with the equipment or anything that another soldier need. I was taking care of that while I was deployed and everything like
Okay.
that.
So can you describe like the difference between your day to day during your deployment versus your day to day during drill? Because I imagine that could be, kind of a shakeup.
During deployment, we pretty much stayed busy. Like they found us something to do. But the catch with that, COVID had hit like two prior to us going overseas. COVID had hit like I say like a week after we landed in Kuwait. Like COVID hit, so the work pretty much slowed down a little. So that kind of made people, they could relax for a little while, chill back in the barracks, watch movies, play games, play spades, everything like that. So COVID kind of made the deployment a little bit relaxing for the most part. Let me see. And also it was boring because we a lot of places closed down as well. We couldn't really do a lot of things, and that kind of upset a lot of people, and people wasn't too happy about that. Um, like when it comes to drill, pretty much we would do because like drill is just Saturday and Sunday or whatever. So on a Saturday, we would do inventory of the weapons, sensitive items, and everything. Make sure the counts is right. Sunday, we will pretty much do the same thing. Make sure if we have new uniforms to issue out to soldiers, we will issue out the new uniforms. Take inventory of people that is close to ECSing, like leaving the service and everything. We'll do that. So we pretty much be staying busy as well. But for the most part, they do keep us busy in the military. I can tell you that. Yeah.
So you deployed during COVID-19 or before COVID-19? What was that like?
I deployed in COVID. Like I was on orders in January, but
Mhm.
I got to Kuwait late February, early March. Mind you, COVID. We didn't even know COVID, so COVID had hit like a week or two after we was in Kuwait.
Mm.
So we was having fun for like a good week or so. Then I don't know where it was just at the time it was called coronavirus. It was called coronavirus. Then they
Okay.
changed it. Yeah, then they changed it to COVID-19. So everybody was like, "Corona? What is Corona?" Like we didn't know what was going on. Like they just told everybody like it was some type of virus and people had to wear masks and stuff. At the time, we was riding buses, because
Mm.
the base that we was on, it was a pretty big base and it was
Mm.
hot. So if you want to get to zone 6 to zone 1, you would 9 times out of 10 take the bus because
Mm.
people would not want to walk in that heat. I'm telling you, that heat was crazy. And that was the first sign that like this was like that virus was really serious. Like they shut the bus transportation down, so people was not too happy about that at all.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, cause like I can only imagine, you know what I'm saying, like how it must have been, you know what I'm saying, as lower enlisted. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the thing is like your pay is different, you know what I mean?
Right,
And so
right.
it's like
Yeah.
a lot of leaders be like, oh yeah, they can get through it. I'm like, and then I gotta talk to my fellow officers. I'm like, bro, they ain't making nothing but change. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like in that heat, so buses shut down. Like what did you think of like the amenities? Like was Kuwait anything like you thought it would be, or like how did that go down for you?
Kuwait was
Like
an
what was your
atmosphere.
expectations?
My expectation was like before I got deployed, before I went overseas, I was actually thinking like it was going to be like a war, like we was going to be, like shooting, our weapons, our firearms and stuff like that. Like we were actually going to be like, fighting enemies and stuff like that. That's how I thought. That's how I pictured it was going to
Okay.
be.
Was you
But
nervous?
at the time I was, but once I got like accustomed to it, that that went away real quick and
Okay.
everything.
That's cool because it's like, oh yeah, he was like, yeah, I'm about to be about it with all my gear on, you know what I'm saying, out there. Pew, 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 you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's interesting that you say that. So how did you get into being TikTok famous? Because I'm very curious on when you got that idea and then like how you started doing it. Like, you know what I mean? Because that whole thing is new to me. I'm an older millennial, so like that ain't, we have Vine.
Right, Vine. Well, actually, COVID helped out in that a lot because COVID made people, find their inner self. Like it made a lot of people, hop onto social media more because we was also locked down. And being locked down, you really don't have anything but, probably a gaming system or your telephone. And, on that small device, you could do a whole lot on that small device. So I got into, TikTok making videos and stuff like that to, occupy my time and make the deployment, faster and everything. So it was this one army video that I posted on TikTok, and it had generated over, I think 200,000 views, and that shocked me. I'm like, wow. And ever since that video, my followers have just been, going up. So that's really how I got TikTok famous at the time by my video getting viral like that and everything.
Okay. So did you get any backlash? Because like when you get famous, like I know people like I know some of the troops is probably like, what is he doing? You got little haters, you know what I'm saying, throwing shade. Like
Oh
did
yeah.
anybody, did leadership or anybody say anything to you about it?
I mean, they didn't say anything in a negative way, but some of them
Mm-hmm.
did notice. Like they was like, I would see them in like the talk, and the talk is like the building where like a lot of leadership be in, because me working in supply, I will always see the higher ups. So
Mm-hmm.
a couple soldiers, leadership would come to me and they was like, "Hey, I seen your video on TikTok, on Instagram." I'm like, "Video?" I'm like, "Oh, that's nice." I'm like, "That's nice." I appreciate it and everything. And also I do want to add my boy. He was also deployed with me. Laster. Laster kind of got me into
Okay.
TikTok as well. Also, so
Okay.
so shout out to Laster. So yeah, if he come across this, I'm shouting him out on that and everything. So he kind of helped me with the going into the TikTok as well and
That's
everything.
real. What pointers did he give you about going into TikTok? Like he was like, what do you say?
Actually, so you say I'm TikTok famous. He on the other hand, he has way over 800,000 followers on TikTok. Yes, he do.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow. Okay.
he do. So like, he would give me feedback on like, videos to post like, on like people like basically on TikTok, they have like a lot of trends that you follow, and if you sometimes follow them trends, your videos can get viral like that as well. So sometimes he would help me out on, find the right videos to post and everything like that and stuff. So for the most
Okay.
part, in the beginning, it took me a while to get into it because also I was doing school online as well. So I was like doing TikTok on the side, and the school was
Mm.
like my main. Yeah, school was my main priority at the time as well. So, but COVID played a huge role in that because for the most part, I really didn't have anything to do. So that's kind of how I
Mm.
stayed busy and everything.
Okay. So how did schooling work like online? Like did you, before you left, did you have to like ask your professors to go online or were you already partially going online? How did that work out for you?
Oh, so
Can you explain to us like what the process of that is?
the process of me deploying, I ended up canceling all my classes. So
Mm.
I think I enrolled my first class that I enrolled in when I was deployed was my summer classes. So my spring classes, I canceled all the spring classes. So my first enrollment when I was deployed again was my summer classes. So, you know, like that process was pretty easy because, you know, being a student already, you could just go online, you know, the school website and register for classes since I was already a student as well. So that was already, you know, the easy part. I just registered for the classes, all online classes. And it's pretty much how I came about that process. Registered for the um, the summer classes. Then after the summer semester was over with, I did fall classes. So altogether, I took let me see, five. I took 9 classes when I was deployed. Altogether, I took 9 classes.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's a lot. What
took
kind of
9 classes.
classes would you take while you was deployed?
I'm a business admin major, so I was taking some math classes. I took a chemistry course. What else? It was a lot of business classes, chemistry,
Mm.
a math class. So, but for the most part, it was a lot of business classes. So it's good that I kind of got them classes out of the way, and it made me so I won't be so left behind once I got back to the civilian side. You know, back to the U.S. and everything.
Okay, okay. So did you use like military benefits for these classes, and like can you tell the audience like any tips? Like, say you got like a troop out there that's thinking about going to school. What tips would you have for them?
Okay. So if you're deployed or not even deployed, just, you know, for someone, you know, a future, well, not a future, like a present soldier that don't really know about how the education system works when it comes to, you know, enrolling in classes and when it comes to the military, they have a lot of benefits out there that you guys can utilize. They have the Post 9, the Montgomery, and also with being in the National Guard, whichever school you want to go to within that state that you're like, you know, a soldier in, they would pay the school 100%. So, for example, I'm in the Illinois National Guard, so I could go to school in Illinois for free, and that's the same thing as you know, you could be in Texas National Guard. They would pay for any school in Texas. So that's one good thing about the military. Well, the Army. I'm gonna say the Army. They will definitely take care of you when it comes to education. They will definitely take care of you. So that's one benefit about the military, the army.
Okay. Like what so what other so besides education, what other benefits do you feel like maybe later on or like currently that you can reap just because you got deployed? Is it because I hear that there's a difference between like, a soldier that they're just they don't get deployed and a soldier that does get deployed. Do you know some
Right.
of the benefits that they have access to?
When you get deployed, they open up a lot of doors, more doors when you get deployed. Like they would actually give you more money towards school. You could probably possibly get like better benefits, like, you know, if you want to try getting a house or anything like that. Like they will see that you have like a deployment under your belt, and like a lot of these establishments and like businesses will like work with you because you've been deployed before, and like they will take care of you. Like they will take care of you, and they see that, you know, you're an actual veteran and you serve the country. So why not? So why not? Since you serve the country, they should serve you back. So that's how they looking at it and everything.
Okay. Okay. So I think while we was deployed to Kuwait, I had a conversation with you about money. And so, because you had like the whole time in Kuwait, like you probably one of the most frugal people I've met, but you stay fly. So how do you balance, like, especially at your age? You know what I'm saying? How old are you again?
24.
Yeah, so at 24, how do you stay balanced? Because I remember when I was 24, I was a knucklehead with my
Yeah.
money. So how
Right.
you
Right.
got some? Can you tell us how to tell them young troops how to manage their money appropriately?
Oh, like as in regards to like getting deployed, or like just in general.
Just in general, like as a young troop, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of cats, they join the army and they go get these expensive cars and the jewelry and the
Yeah.
chains, you know what I'm saying,
Yep.
and
They
ball out.
do. They really do. And like you were saying, you know, being enlisted like E4 or below, like they thinking they making a lot of money. Well, if you're coming from like a place where like you haven't, you know, seen that type of money before, then they would think like that's a lot of money and everything. But actually, it's really not a lot of money if you look back on it. Like the ones that make the good money are like the the officers. They make they make the good money. So in regards to saving, you know, every time you get paid, the army get well, the military they pay twice a month. You know, the first and the 15th. So every time you get paid, just set a little to the side. You know, set it. You know, put it to the savings account and everything. So don't just blow the whole check because that's not going to benefit you in the future at all. So like in regards to me and like the deployment and everything, every time I got paid twice a month, I would set aside a sum of cash, and I did that every single month while I was deployed. So while I got back to the U.S., I would have a decent amount of cash, that I could utilize, and also now I still have that same amount of cash that I saved once I was deployed. Like when I was deployed, I haven't even touched it yet, and I don't plan on touching it no time soon. I actually need to start investing my money. That's what I need to start doing. Yeah.
Okay, so investors the next move. So what type of investor? You trying to be like, get into crypto, or what you just trying to do like, day stocks or like long stocks, or how are you doing that?
I want to get into stocks and like Bitcoin and
Mhm.
everything like that, but I need to do my research and like learn up on it because I don't want to just
Mm.
put my money into it and just lose it all. Like I need to get some background knowledge on it first before I think about investing and
That's real
everything.
because people going to their big homie and their little homie, they like, hey, bro, hit me up. I can show you how to do. And I'm like,
Right,
wait, hold
right.
on, dog. We went to school together. Like you're not very good at math, so I'm
Right.
not saying somebody can't become great at math, right? Like I'm horrible at math,
Right,
so I'm the
right,
last
right.
person to be like, hey, yeah, let's get in this, investment stocks, because I had to be frugal with my money as well and saving and put it away because I'm like, man, I got an opportunity to pay off a lot of debt. And I learned a lot from our conversations overseas about saving money and putting it away, because when a lot of the other cats was doing different things, you was just putting the money away, and that actually helped
Yep.
motivate me along my journey. So from me to you, I appreciate you, bro, for what I'm
Oh
saying, for
yeah,
chopping
no
it up with
problem, no
what I'm
problem.
saying, old cat, what I'm saying, because it don't, like, when it comes to money, like, it doesn't really matter the age. Like, if you're
Right.
conditioned to blow it, you conditioned to blow it. And if you don't
That's
know
true.
anything else, you ain't gonna have nothing else because you're used
Exactly.
to another check coming in. Um, so when it comes down to like saving money, um, what so what what kept you from, like, because how did you stay away from stunting like everybody else? Because like a lot of people got caught up in boredom, so they just started ordering stuff.
Oh
Like, how did
man.
you avoid that peer pressure? Because I know somebody was
Um.
like, hey, let's go, what I'm saying, do this and go do that.
Right. Right. Once again, COVID played a huge role in that because a
Okay.
lot of places, like a lot of food places closed down. Like we had KFC on post, we had Charlie, Starbucks, like we had a lot of restaurants on post, and so like because COVID hit around the same time we went overseas, and the stores, the restaurants pretty much didn't open back up until it was time for us to go. So within that whole time frame, I saved a lot of money on going out and spending my food on fast food or spending my money on fast food. That's one that was one good thing that COVID played a part in as well. And also coming back overseas, like taking things back with you to the US. I didn't want to have a lot of luggage and extra stuff that I knew I didn't need once I would have got back home. Like, what was the point of buying, a couch if I knew I wasn't going to bring it back to the US? Like, it was just pointless. People like spend their money on a lot of crazy things while they was deployed.
What was some of the craziest things they was buying while they was over there? Because
Let me
I'm an officer,
see.
so we all segmented over there, packed in a little
Right,
room.
right. People will buy like 50-inch TVs. People will buy like weights, shoes, like bowling balls and stuff, like just a lot of stuff that they knew they couldn't take back with them overseas, like back to the US. Like what was the point of wasting that money when you could have just saved it and used it when you got back to the US?
That's real. Well, in facts, and here's the thing. So I want to know what your experience was like. What were the differences for you in leaving the States and then coming back? How was your experience? Was it shocking when you got back, to the area, from overseas? And can you describe what that was like for you?
Oh, actually, it didn't get because prior to coming back, we had to do 14-day quarantine. So even though I was in the US, I still didn't feel like I was at home yet. So I didn't feel different up until the 14-day quarantine was over. Like once I actually got home, I had to adjust back to, being back in the like being back a civilian again, because I was basically a soldier 24/7, 7 days a week. I would have to like the flag would like go off, and like one day I was looking at the time, I'm like, why is the flag not going off? Like I had to adjust myself, to being a civilian again. It took like a week or a couple of days to me being back adjusted to the civilian side. So that was kind of strange for a short amount of time, just adjusting back to the civilian side.
Okay, so you seem to have adjusted well. What are some of the things that you did to adjust to, like, because it has to be weird, like you've been away from family for a year, you've been away from just school for a year, just people that are not in uniform for a year. what
Right.
what things did you do to integrate fairly smoothly?
When I got home, like it was just like because I don't have me not having kids. I feel like if I would have had kids on a deployment, I feel like that probably would have been really hard on me. But luckily enough, as of now, I don't have no kids, so I didn't have to deal with people like deal with like say for instance I were to have like a son or a daughter. That probably would have been hard coming back a year later and seeing my son or daughter and having to readjust back to them and everything. But luckily, me not having no children or no or no kid, I didn't have to adjust anything like that. I just basically reunited with my cousin, my sister, like my father and my mother, and it was just that they were just ecstatic to see me and everything. Actually, I surprised them coming home. They didn't even know I was in the US. They was shocked about that. So that was pretty easy to adjust back to, just making up for lost time and everything like that. So that's basically how things got um back to one and everything like that.
Okay, so I got a question for you. What was your first meal when you got back? Because I know a lot of cats, they're like, man, I'm gonna go eat this, I'm gonna go eat that. Or
Right,
did your
right.
plans get thwarted by COVID? Like, how did that work?
I mean, COVID places were still shut down. I'm trying to think, what was my first meal? I think we was on quarantine. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was like some Dairy Queen or I think like some Chinese food when I was
Okay.
on quarantine back in Texas. So that felt pretty good. Like we could actually eat different food. So
Uh,
that felt pretty good.
so
Yeah.
I remember. So if I remember right, they showed us a lot of love in Kuwait. I remember you sending me a picture of the Juneteenth. I think I was at. I think I was. We was doing the operation on the border of Iraq, and you sent me that
Right,
picture.
right.
That was mad love. How did like what? So you feel like they showed a lot of love over there in Kuwait to the brothers?
Oh, they definitely did. Like almost every single holiday did not get unnoticed. Even the holidays that people back in the US would probably like go like it would go unnoticed. Like for example, you were talking about Juneteenth. That kind of shocked me. I'm like, wow, they celebrate this over there, and that actually made me happy that they was like celebrating a holiday that was like basically about African Americans, and that made me proud in the inside and everything. So I kind of like them about that. So that was good.
Okay, okay. They showed a lot of love, man. That was beautiful. When I seen that picture, I was like, man, like
Yeah,
the
that was
Kuwaitis
nice.
hold us down like this, because like sometimes you have
Yeah,
certain conversations in the U.S. and they just don't get it. They don't get us, and it's not like we're difficult people to deal with. You know, it's just like we just want to be respected, like everybody else, and be able
exactly,
to do our job.
exactly.
What so how do you manage, so I imagine in supply, right? Because everybody needs something. How do you
Right,
manage
right.
all the different personalities and making sure that they squared away?
Well, I wasn't the only person that was on supply. It was me and let me see, I had Specialist Johnson, a sergeant, or two other sergeants, and another specialist. So altogether, we had four people on supply. And if a soldier needed like something like a mask or something like that, if I couldn't do it, or like if I knew that I couldn't issue it out, I would lead them to like the person that was over me at the time, and like they would handle that situation. But if she wasn't around, then I will put in an order and let them know that their item that they're trying to get will be here probably within a week or so, like that. So it was a lot of people that needed a lot of stuff on deployments when it came to equipment and clothing and everything like that. Also, we would get like a clothing allowance as well. So if people, because it being so hot, the uniforms really it didn't last. Like if you needed new shirts, we was fortunate enough to order new shirts for the soldiers and everything like that, new uniforms, jackets, pants, and things like that. So that's pretty good about supply. Supply would definitely take care of you when it comes to things like that. So that's good.
That's what's up. So like, so I got a question. So if you say right now, right? Because maybe one day I might take command of a unit. What would you say? Like, you know what I'm saying? What tips would you give to the commander when it comes to working with supplies from Specialist Cook? How, like, this is raw, unfiltered. What would you say?
Um, I would say, I would tell the commander, just make sure that the team that you're, like, the team that you're looking over and everything, make sure that the supply is, like they should be up to top notch, because without supply, the unit would not run um like effective, because supply is like is very much a need when it comes to a lot of things within a unit. Without supply, things would not get done. Like supply is like, if you look at it like a cell, supply is the nucleus of the cell. It runs everything almost, because like supply gets the ball rolling. So I would tell the like I would tell the commander, just make sure that when it comes to supply, make sure that they have everything that they need to run uh, their little uh, business, I should say, because without them, the unit would be nothing. Just make sure that um, they're good to go, because if not, everything after under supply will like just crumble. Like it would not be a good unit at all.
Okay. So I can only imagine that like a lot of people come in asking for stuff. What's one
Yeah.
of your what's one of your what's one, tell us one of your biggest pet peeves if somebody coming to supply and asking for something.
So say for instance, I gave a soldier some gloves. They signed for the gloves and everything. They will come back a week later and say they need some more gloves. I'm like, I just issued out you some gloves last week. Why are you coming back to me asking for some more gloves? So when it comes to supply, they will always try to get over on you and try to order or try to get the same thing that they know they ordered already. And sometimes if you if you feed into them, some supply people would simply just pass it to them on the table. Other supply people will have them write another hand receipt. So it just all depends on the person that you're addressing, like, or asking when it comes to supply. Because some people would do it, and some people wouldn't. It just depends. But for the most part, sometimes it do get nerve wracking, because a lot of people do ask for things that they already have or lost. So it just get crazy sometimes.
Nah, that's real, man. Shout out to y'all. I had like it's funny, like I don't know, I've always had really good relationships like with, you know what I'm saying, my supply people. Cause my pops was
Yeah.
supply back in the day. And I was also a
Okay.
92 Fox. I was a fueler. So I was a fuel
Okay.
supply
Okay.
guy. And my pops was like, always be nice to supply, hook them up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just like my cooks, like when I was enlisted, it was I don't know if you ever seen South Park where they got the dude called Chef or whatever on South Park. You know what I'm talking about?
I seen it.
The
Yeah.
African American
Yeah.
guy. Like we
Yeah.
literally had one of him like as our cook in our first unit. It was fire because like he, you know what I'm saying, supply, you treat them right, they treat you right. But I think that's a hard line to walk because you also accountable for millions worth of equipment. You know,
Exactly.
that's a weird spot to be in, especially as a specialist, man. It's like you got to sign for this, sign this out, make sure people there, make sure like they was really, man, they was making y'all work.
Yeah, we
Like
was
y'all,
working.
some of the hardest working supply people I've ever met in my entire life.
We was working.
Hot, cold, you know, breezy, whatever it was. It's funny, people don't realize it like got chilly in Kuwait. Cause when you at
Yeah.
120 degrees all the time and it goes down to 80, like you start freezing.
I was wearing a hoodie at 90 degrees at night. At 90, I was wearing a hoodie at 90 degrees. That's how hot it got. Like once you got used to 115, 120, 90 was like 70, 80 degrees. That's how it felt.
Mm. Yeah, that's real. That's
Yeah.
real. So what's next for Mr. Cook? You know what I'm saying? You going to school for business. And so what do you want to do with that degree? Where do you see yourself in let's say how many years you got left on the degree?
I have 3 more semesters to go.
3 more. Wow, you breezing through. Okay, I see
Yeah,
you.
I got 3 more to
3 more
go.
semesters ain't bad because I know people that, you know, they 26, 27, 28. It don't matter to, you know, how fast you get there. It's all about
Right,
the
right.
things you learn along the process. So where
That's
would you
true.
like to be in, you know, the next 5 years as far as like career wise and if you stay in the military?
Within the next 5 years, I see myself. I'm actually trying to pursue my master's degree as well. So after I get my bachelor's degree, I'm gonna try to go for my master's degree. But I don't know if I want to like just jump straight into it. I want to see how my degree will play out and everything like that. I also what I want to do. I want to start my own business and everything like that. That's what I want to do
Okay.
after I get my degree and everything. Start my own business and everything like that. Um, and move out of Illinois. So and me
Okay.
saving up, like like the time frame, me saving up, I didn't put aside a good amount to like move to any state that I want to move to. So that's pretty
Wow.
good too.
I'm
Yeah,
proud of
that's
you,
pretty
man.
good.
That's
Yeah,
outstanding. So like what type of business you want to start? You know, I
I want
gotta
to get
know
into
so that
like
way, you know what I'm saying?
right,
You got what I need, what's going on?
definitely, definitely. I want to get into like detailing cars and stuff like that. That's what I want to get into.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
tinting
So
cars
you
and
want to compete
everything.
with me? No,
Oh, oh no,
nah,
no, ain't
it's
nothing
a
like
lot. It's
that.
not it's enough money out here for everybody.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? We might even
I
have a venture. I might, you know what I'm saying? Hey, go ahead, we're gonna do a franchise. You go ahead and take this franchise to this city where we, you know what I'm saying? So
definitely,
that's smart because
definitely.
you good at math. Mm-mm.
I'm all right. I'm all right.
So detailing. So like you talking about like 10 windows, like vacuuming, like where do you want to
Like
like
pretty
you
much,
talking about wrapping cars or
like the detailing, like cleaning inside, outside, tinting windows, like all within that bubble and everything like that. That's what I want to
okay.
get into.
Okay. And so how do you plan on using your business degree to feed the beast? What have you learned thus far in business that's gonna that would help you succeed at a higher level in car detailing?
Um, I learned like dealing with customers, clientele, and everything like that because most of these classes that I'm taking, they they talk about finance and stuff like that, how to deal with customers, like the the glass door effect and everything, the right ways to approach people and stuff like that. So a lot of these business classes do help you out when it comes to like a lot of real world scenarios and
Okay.
things. So
Can you?
that is a good. Yeah. Go ahead.
So you said the glass door effect. What is that?
Oh, that's that's something that I learned in one of my classes. It's like I know what it is, but I don't know if I'm going to explain it right and
Okay,
everything. Yeah, it's
it's
something
cool.
that I
Give it a
learned in one of my
shot.
classes. Oh, the glass door effect. Oh, okay. If I can explain this right, basically the glass door effect is when you're like say you're trying to like make it to like the highest level in the business that can possibly get to. Like you're working very very hard to try to make it to that top level, and like you can see it but you can't actually reach that level. So that's basically like what the glass door effect is. It's like you're like so close to your goal. You can basically see your goal, but you're not quite at your goal. That's basically the glass door effect, if I explained that right and
Okay.
everything.
Okay. So like, is that like you don't get to the goal because of lack of motivation, or you decide to quit before you got there,
I
or is
wouldn't
it just the
necessarily
concept?
say it's like lack of motivation. It's like people see you trying, but they don't want to put you at that level, basically. So I
Mm,
wouldn't necessarily say it's lack of motivation. It's like people that's like say for instance, your manager see you working hard, they
mm.
wouldn't put you in that next level to like succeed. They would put somebody else in that place. So they would just
Ooh,
pass you up and put the next person in that position
ooh,
and
that's rough.
everything.
So with the
Yeah.
glass door effect, do they recommend like you go start your own thing, or that you become more efficient at the job? Is that like a self reflection, or is just the overall concept?
It's just like a overall.
Make sure I can still hear you. Can you?
Yep, I got you.
Yeah. My headphones died on me.
Oh, you
Yeah.
good? Technology, man.
So it's basically like just the overall concept and everything like that.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah.
So I don't want to take too much of your time here as we get ready to wrap up. You got any questions for me?
So for you, I do want to say, how did you like about what did you like about the deployment as in regards to like you being you not being enlisted, you being over like a platoon and everything. Like how did like what was the hard things that you faced on that deployment, and like things that you would look back on and be like, that didn't made me into the person I am like now.
Okay. Some of the hard things was, I mean, number one was ego. Um, I would say number two was creating relationships. And then number three was allowing others to lead. And they all kind of tie together. So when it came to ego, right, you're given as an officer, you're given all this responsibility, but at the same time, it's like you have all these other people that you're responsible for, and it's hard. So you want to go hard, but you can't go hard like you want to because you don't have when you accepted a new organization, you don't have all the skills that everybody else has. So you may
Right.
have, as an officer, you have baseline knowledge, and so you want to use that knowledge as effectively as possible, but you don't know what you don't know because
Okay.
a lot of chemical units do different things. They have different equipment. They have, different makeups. I mean, the doctrine on chem is like this big and it's still being reran through and innovated on a daily basis. So my biggest learning lesson was like subduing my ego. And,
Right.
you know, um, when it came to like learning and interacting with the troops, I had to make sure that like I was putting them in positions to lead because I can't do everything by myself. Like, and I learned that I'm nothing without my troops. And, I always thought that, you always know that. But at the same time, it's different when you boots on the ground in a deployment accepting a platoon. That's different than the guard. That's even different than active duty where you just chilling stateside, right? Because you've
Right.
got
Right.
different regulations, you got different rules, you follow under a totally different command. And, for me, what helped me through the process was my troops teaching me learning from them, and then allowing them to lead, and then teaching them how to do it. Because, you know, I want the lowest man on the totem pole, you know, which was at the time a Sangha Cap, you know, shout out to him. I want them to know how to do my job, at least on a baseline level. Because I'm a realist, and humans are fallible, and anything could have happened at any time. Like, you know, a lot of stuff was getting blown up, you know, while we were doing our operations prior to us getting there. That could have been us. That could have been me. I was typically, you know, on the fence or in the fence line. And so something could have happened to me. I could have died. And then, you know, mission has to carry on. Things have to move on. And, you know, once I started to let go of that ego, everything that I wanted to happen in my life started to fall into place. And, you know, because I came there, and it was difficult, you know, because, you know, I'm very reserved. You know, I'm very like, it takes a lot. Like, I really have to like you to warm up to you. And I learned how to fix that. Like, over there, I learned how to be more of a chameleon. And so I had to take those concepts and bring them together, the knowledge that I had. And then, you know, but at the same time, like, once I stopped focusing on, am I going to make captain while I'm here? And just focus on the process, on taking care of the troops, looking out for them, making sure they had what they needed, working with my supply guys. Shout out to you, you know what I'm saying? And Weir and everybody that was there to get things done, and then allowing my troops to do it. Like, that's when I gained a lot of respect. And that's when, you know, boom, next thing I know, Captain Hamilton. And I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a shock to the system.
Yeah.
Because you're like, man, my dreams are starting to come true. And that's kind of what the podcast is about, is proactive pragmatism. Once I started being proactive about everything that I did. I know you probably heard people say, you know, there go Captain Hamilton getting up at 4 a.m. He doing this, he go to bed early, stuff like that. And once I started doing those things and biting down, really focusing on the process, you know what I'm saying? I took, you know, like, you would help, like, mentally when you talked about money and stuff like that. Like, I had a budget and I was just putting stuff away, you know what I'm saying? When I, like, my biggest goal was financial freedom. So, you know, once I started walking into that servant leadership, that's when things started to change. But the hardest part is not watching other people change around you. But guess what? You can only control. You can only control you. And then once you learn self-control, how to control yourself, your emotions, your anger, stuff like that, not very many things actually bother you, because you know that you understand that they're not nearly as big as they come off to be. And then you start interacting with other people that, I mean, even if they might be higher ranking or like peers to you, you know what I'm saying? Now since you've conquered yourself, you can have better dialogue with them. And usually the dialogue that you have with them is like, helps you get things done. And so once I learned that, hey, have dialogue with them, look out for them, you know, look out for the troops, be a servant leader in all aspects, up and down, things started to change. And ever since, you know, I got back, I just been blessed. Like, I just been keeping my head down and working, and I'm looking forward to the next deployment. So yeah, that's pretty much my experience. It was tough. It was rough, man. Like, a lot of leaders put me in a lot of weird places, you know, like weird spaces. And reflecting on it, there's a lot of things that I could have done different. But at the time, you know, as a young soldier, you don't know what you don't know. But now, once you know, now you can hold yourself accountable and hold everybody else around you accountable, and be that leader that people want to see. Especially as an African American, like, I have to realize that it means a lot to a lot of people that I'm there in the position that I'm at. And so if I'm gonna do it, Cook, if we're gonna do it, we got to do it excellent. You know what I'm saying? And nothing less, because, you know, 60 years ago we weren't allowed to be in these positions. So that's how, you know, I you know, and I'm also the type of person, I don't use any excuse. You know, no excuses is good enough, because there are officers that have been through before me and that are currently in the news that are going through worse. And so I gotta be able to stand on my own as a man. My philosophy is, if I go tomorrow, I know that I left a legacy.
Definitely did.
So I appreciate you, Cook, coming on the podcast.
Yeah, you know, it's not a problem.
Follow Cook on TikTok, on Instagram, y'all viewers. You know, so make sure y'all show my man love. Here's a ticker, the bottom, TikTok.com, T4X_. Also, he's on Instagram as well. So follow Torrey. Torrey, we appreciate you coming on the podcast, brother. anytime you want to drop by, you want to say something, you want to hop on Proactive Pragmatism, you feeling motivated and something was grinding your gears, hit the cap up.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? My space is your space. This is about you. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, no problem, man. I was glad to be here. Glad to be here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Torrey Cook.